Please, don't try anything that you're about to see at home. We have experts to keep us safe.
We shouldn't have to say it, but just don't do it.
There is a legend of a man who strapped a rocket to his car and flew. In 2003, the MythBusters brought the legend to life, but it failed to fly.
Darn.
In 2007, they returned, more armed and more dangerous.
It's heading towards the ramp.
But crashed and burned. Now, they're back with a vengeance. So prepare for traction, heart-stopping action,
I got control.
and ultimate satisfaction. Because they're taking this myth to the extreme and beyond.
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
That is science.
and Jamie Heineman.
I'm ready.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Together with Grant Imahara,
Oh, it's burrowing!
Carrie Byron,
Always makes me feel dangerous.
and Tori Belleci.
There's something you don't see every day.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Hey there. After 10 years and 200 episodes, we are finally go for launch.
With the myth that launched the legend.
Exactly. To celebrate MythBusters' 10th anniversary of being on the air, we are finally going to tackle once and for all the one that got away.
Rockets and cars.
Yeah, so strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen. Can I get an echo here? Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for JATO. Mission accomplished. It's on.
Oh, it's on, because this is JATO 3, and we are all systems go for takeoff. It's the urban legend that began the busting. Supposedly, an airman strapped a jet-assisted takeoff unit to his Impala and rocketed across the desert at 350 miles per hour. But when he hit a bump, his car took to the air and soared for over a mile until a cliff brought his journey to an abrupt end. But did this jet-assisted joyride really take wing? The MythBusters are joining forces to close the case once and for all.
All right, JATO 3, mission accomplished. What is the plan?
Okay, here it is. We do 2 launches. The first one is the original myth as stated. We get a Chevy Impala, strap a reliable set of rockets to it, light them up, and aim them towards a bump in the road.
And see whether it takes off or not.
Exactly.
And if we don't get that, we up the rocket power and add a ramp.
Well, you know, first off, we need a couple of these things. A couple of Chevy Impalas with remote control. Grant?
Sounds good to me.
We are also going to need a safe place from which to steer them, like a mobile command bunker.
Like a MythBusters tank.
Exactly.
This is going to be insane.
Yes, it is.
And for Destination Insanity, the first element of this rocket rodeo is to chase up a Chevy.
In the testing of this story, we have already utterly destroyed 2 Chevy Impalas. In this very episode, we're destroying 2 more. And this one is the most beautiful of the lot. Hands down, this car, somebody loved this car. From the paint job to the red wheels to the cherry white and red leather interior and the custom wooden console, this thing is magnificent with all sorts of attachments like this. Check it out. Yeah. It almost makes you sad to destroy it. Almost.
Almost. But the rockets have to go somewhere. And back at the shop, it's time to unpimp this ride. Yep, the car is stripped bare. And then Adam brings out his favorite friend. To clear some junk from the trunk. to make room for the rear thrusters.
Wow! What the hell?
There we go. That was awesomely difficult.
Difficult, but for the most important element, it's over to Jamie.
We're going to mount 5 2,000-pound thrust rockets on the back of this car, which means I'm going to have to build a really reinforced mounting system. Why? Well, one of our biggest concerns is that a rocket might become detached from the car after ignition, and that effectively means it would become a missile, and we don't want that.
It's a rocket, man.
So to keep everybody safe, we're triangulating this rocket pocket to as many points on the chassis as we can. Hopefully that'll keep everything where it's supposed to be.
That's one rocket car mod complete, and emotions are running high.
Gotta say, seeing the car in the shop like that, it's a little emotional.
Really?
Well, 10 years ago when we set an Impala up like this for the exact same stunt, we didn't know what was ahead of us. I mean, I have to admit I'm getting a little choked up.
You done?
Yeah.
Good, because we got to get this puppy over to Grant so he can RC it.
All right.
So the Impala rolls out of one shop and into the next,
This is what you call a classic.
where Dr. RC is waiting to give the patient its treatment.
So our classic car is now ready for the radio control treatment, and that is going to include steering, throttle, brake, emergency kill, and something special to switch into neutral just after the rocket's fired.
That's what it's got to do. And not only is that a huge task, it also comes with some huge stakes.
Believe me, this project, there's a lot of pressure here. It's got to track perfectly straight. It's got to be rock solid. It's got to stop on a dime if anything goes wrong. But if everything goes right, it's got to keep going no matter what. It's going to be a big job, but I think I'm up to the task.
So phase 2, the mobile command bunker, can begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, what I have here is the follow vehicle that Jamie and Adam are going to be driving as they go after the JATO rocket car. What we need to do is build some kind of structure around the cab that will give them maximum protection if something goes wrong.
To do that, we're welding a steel cage all the way around the cab. Then we're attaching polycarbonate blast shields all the way around that. Now imagine Jamie and Adam moving down the desert, radio controlling a rocket car from inside this post-apocalyptic sci-fi looking beast. This is going to be awesome.
Indeed. So the steel frame is cut,
Am I the only one that has the theme to A-Team going through my head right now?
welded together, hoisted into position, and attached to the truck, which is just what the Heinemann ordered.
Is that beefy enough for you?
I think that's going to do it.
I mean, you know, it's your life on the line. You guys are going to be in there driving. So we want to make it as beefy as possible.
Well, thank you.
We don't want you to get hurt, big guy.
Don't touch me.
Sorry.
Jamie's happy, so the frame is finished, and even the rain doesn't ruin this parade.
You're probably asking yourself, how are they going to be able to get into the cab? That's probably the coolest part about this whole thing. And then Jamie and Adam can get in and out. How cool is this? I mean, this is serious Mad Max stuff.
So the last pieces of the puzzle, the blast shields, are bolted into position on all 3 sides of the cage.
Man, what are we gonna do with this truck when we're done with the experiment?
I think we're ready for the apocalypse.
And with that, the truck bunker is ready to hit the road. Meanwhile, next door, Grant has finally finished remote controlling the Impala.
Okay, so this car is ready to go with all of its radio control. But you know what? It hasn't been tested all together as a system yet. So to do that, we need to go somewhere remote, where there aren't a lot of people or things to crash into.
Well, the New Jerusalem runway should fit that bill.
A little foggy this morning.
Yep. Shall we drive a car while standing in a single location?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Sounds like a plan.
That could have gone better.
But this time, there's a twist.
What we've done is we put a camera in this car right where the driver would be, giving us the same view, and we're going to try to drive it via a monitor. It's sort of like a virtual reality system.
Yep, and once the motor is running,
We're on.
Excellent.
with only the monitor for reference,
And here we go.
Grant takes the Impala for a spin.
It's
There it
moving.
goes.
After a ginger start,
Look at that.
it's clear that Grant's years of GTA have paid off.
Line it up on the white line. Oh, hey. Oh, you're trying to miss the camera.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Nice. Oh.
And the virtual remote control system is also ahead of the curve.
You stop, and brakes on. So that was a successful test. You know, the car starts, that it drives, that it stops, that it steers, kind of. As a bonus, we can switch it into neutral when we have to, and kill it if anything goes awry.
That is a very promising systems check.
Yeah, not a bad start.
A few tweaks here and there, and we'll be good to go.
Well, let's head to the desert.
Coming up, it's the return of the JATO.
Doing good.
He's coming straight for it. Get ready, Carrie.
And the MythBusters finally get their rockets off. But can they make an Impala fly?
This time could be the charm.
In this urban legend, a speed freak strapped a rocket to his car, hit a bump, and flew through the air for over a mile until a cliff brought his sky ride to an end. It's the very first one that got away. And despite 2 previous attempts, this myth has remained unanswered. So now, the MythBusters are back in the Mojave to put it to rest once and for all.
Good day for rockets and mayhem.
Well, this is it. I know it looks like I'm standing in the middle of nowhere, but in point of fact, I'm standing on the Cuddyback Dry Lake bed in the Mojave Desert. 5 miles long, 2 miles wide. This is where the first episode of MythBusters we ever shot 10 years ago reaches its natural conclusion. This is where our rocket car, our Chevy Impala, hopefully will finally catch some air.
So, all that's left is to attach the rockets to the car and go for it, right? Well, actually, no. See, first, we have to nail down our safety. Then we have to measure out a length of desert highway. And then we have to check the RC system. And when we're happy with all that, then and only then do we attach the rockets to the car. Which means I better get back to work, huh?
There's a lot to do, but as always, it's safety first.
Now, once these rockets go off, this car is going to turn into a 5,000-pound missile. And if it decides to go off course, we're going to need protection. And that's where this comes in. This is a 100 blast-resistant steel building. And it can withstand a 1,200-pound ampo blast 75 feet away. And it is 2 times more blast-resistant than a reinforced concrete building. I'm going to feel really safe inside of there.
That's mission control sorted. But Adam and Jamie will ride in the belly of the beast.
How do you like the beast?
I'm speechless. I think we'll be safe in it.
That's everyone protected.
Yeehaw!
So next up is that highway to the danger zone.
So the myth is that our driver hit this bump on the side of the road and got airborne. Now, the side of the road, it's not a huge bump. It's just about a speed bump. So we're going to make this little berm, this little bump, out of these 50-pound sandbags. Actually, a line of 50-pound sandbags about 50 feet long. Oh, crap. This one's leaking.
It's ironic. It's like we're getting ready for a flood in the desert.
For visibility, it's back to black for the berm, while Adam is fashioning the guideline.
Well, they told me I'd be working on the runway, so I put together something a little special. In fact, this is one of our white stripes. We're going to lay them out for about 300 feet right down the center line, and these will be what we will use to aim the car towards ground zero. Perfect.
Nailed it.
And with the fast lane set, Jamie's bumper to bumper on the car.